It felt like nothing at first. Just a small nudge in my chest. So small I almost laughed and kept walking. I was passing a park gate. Across the street stood a woman in a thin coat. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't calling for help. She was just standing there. And one thought kept repeating in my mind. Don't pass her. I told myself it was nothing. But when I took one more step, something inside me went quiet. Not peaceful. Empty. Like I had just ignored something important. And I didn't know why. My name is Adrian Cole. People call me Lucky. I lived in a bright apartment downtown. Everything in it matched. My work was clean and quiet. Numbers. Calls. Deals. I never worried about food. Or rent. Or who would help me. But I worried about meaning. That kind of worry doesn't show on your face. I smiled in meetings. Then went home feeling like air. I told myself I was fine. Still, something felt unfinished. And that day at the park gate, the unfinished part of me woke up. I crossed the street anyway. Slow, like I was crossing into another life. She looked up when I got close. Her eyes were steady, not dramatic. She held a plastic bag. Inside were a few worn things. Her hair was pulled back tight, like she couldn't afford loose pieces. Are you okay? I asked. It sounded useless the moment it left me. She gave a small nod, but her hands shook. I'm fine, she said. Then her voice dropped. I'm just stuck. That word stayed in the air, like it belonged to more than her. And I felt that nudge again. Stronger now. Her name was Maris. That name didn't match the street. I offered coffee from a nearby place. She hesitated like it was a trap. I'm not asking for money, she said fast. Her pride stood taller than her coat. I'm not offering pity, I said. I surprised myself saying it. We walked to the cafe. People stared for a second, then looked away. She sat near the window, like she needed an exit. I bought 2 coffees, then forgot how to act normal. Maris held the cup with both hands, like warmth was rare. And I kept thinking one thing. Why her? Why now? I asked where she lived. She didn't answer right away. Not far, she said, but her eyes slid away again. I asked about family. Her mouth tightened. Used to have one, she said. Then she stared into the cup. I didn't push. Something told me to wait. Outside, a clean city bus passed. It looked like a moving promise. Maris watched it go, like she used to belong inside one. Then she said, almost like a confession, I used to work in buildings like yours. That hit me hard, because I never imagined that fall. And I wondered what kind of fall she meant, and why my chest felt heavy. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from fear, from pressure. I sat on my couch in silence, and felt watched by my own thoughts. I tried scrolling my phone. Nothing held my attention. Then the same thought returned. Go back. I argued with it. I told myself it was guilt. But it didn't feel like guilt. It felt like a hand on my shoulder. I whispered a quick prayer. Not fancy. Not loud. God, if this is you, guide me. The room felt still after that. Not magical. Just still. And in that stillness I knew. I had to see her again. I found her near the same park gate. Like the city had paused her there. She looked surprised. Not pleased. Just surprised. You came back, she said softly. Like nobody did that for her. I asked if I could walk with her. She shook her head first. Then she sighed. Fine. But don't judge it. We walked behind a row of old buildings. Past dumpsters and broken fences. She stopped at a narrow doorway. The kind you don't notice. Inside was a room with one mattress. And a small heater that looked tired. No photos. No decor. No comfort. Maris stood there quietly, like she was showing me her shame. And something in me broke open. Not pity. Something deeper. I didn't ask too many questions. But she started talking anyway. I had a good job, she said. Her voice was steady, like rehearsed. I cleaned offices at night. Then I studied in the morning. She told me she was saving. For a small home. A fresh start. Then her mother got sick. The bills ate her savings. Then her landlord raised rent. Then her job cut hours. It was a slow collapse. Not a dramatic disaster. It felt like nothing at first, she said. Her eyes finally met mine. Then it felt like drowning. Her fingers gripped the bag tighter. I didn't know what to say. So I just listened. And I felt the nudge again. This time it felt like grief. I told my friend Callum about her. He frowned like I mentioned a bad investment. Be careful, he said. You don't know her story. I do, I said. But even I wasn't sure. Callum leaned back in his chair. His voice got quieter. People will use your kindness, he said. Rich men get targeted. That word rich made me uneasy, like it didn't belong on my skin. I left the restaurant feeling cold, like I was walking with a secret. That night, I prayed again, short and honest. God, protect me from pride, and protect her from harm. Then I remembered her eyes. Not hungry, not greedy, just tired, and still trying. I offered Maris help, not cash in her hand. I offered a plan, temporary housing, job connections. She looked insulted at first. Then her face softened. I don't want your life, she said. I just want my footing back. That line stayed with me, because I had footing and still felt lost. I arranged a short stay at a clean studio, through someone I knew. Maris didn't smile. She just breathed like she forgot how. Then she said something small. Thank you for seeing me. I didn't answer fast, because I realized how rare that was. And as I walked away, I felt something else. Not pride, responsibility. And it scared me, because responsibility changes you. That night, I had a dream. It felt sharp and quiet. I was standing in a long hallway. Doors lined both sides. Every door had my name on it. Adrian, Adrian, Adrian. At the end was one door. It had Maris's name. I tried to open it, but it wouldn't move. Then I heard a voice behind me. Not loud, not angry. Stop trying to own what isn't yours. The words cut clean. I turned but saw no one, only light on the floor. I woke up with a dry throat. My heart felt exposed. I understood the message. She wasn't my project. She wasn't my proof of goodness. She was a person, and I needed to treat her that way, or step away completely. I apologized to Maris the next time we met. She blinked like she didn't expect it. I've been acting like I'm in charge, I said. I don't want to do that. Maris stared at me for a long moment. Then she nodded once. My father controlled everything, she said. Her voice grew tight. He gave gifts with strings, then called it love. That word love landed heavy, because my life was full of transactions. I didn't want to repeat her past, so I chose a slower way. We met in public places. We talked like equals. Sometimes she laughed. It sounded like someone unlocking a door, and I started noticing something strange. My life felt less hollow. Maris got an interview at a hotel. A decent role. Stable hours. She showed up early and prepared, but the manager looked at her address. His face changed. His smile became a thin line. He asked questions that weren't about skill. He asked questions about trust. Maris stayed calm, but I saw her jaw tighten. She didn't get the job. She didn't cry either. She walked out into the street, and finally her shoulders dropped. I hate this city, she whispered. It only respects shine. I didn't correct her, because she wasn't wrong. I felt anger rise in me. Not dramatic anger. Clean anger. The kind that demands action, but not revenge. And I heard that nudge again. Don't quit on her now. Some stories stay with us for a reason. Not because they're loud, but because they touch a hidden place. A place we avoid. I didn't know why Maris mattered to me. I only knew I couldn't turn away. And maybe you felt that before. A quiet pull you couldn't explain. I called a woman I knew through work. Her name was Elaine. She ran a housekeeping agency. She cared about people more than profit. Elaine met Maris in person. No forms first. No judgment. She listened, then asked one question. Are you willing to start humble? Maris nodded without hesitation. Elaine hired her that day. Not as charity, as trust. Maris didn't celebrate big. She just walked outside and stood still. Then she looked up at the sky, like she was checking if hope was real. I felt my eyes sting, and I didn't wipe them fast, because something holy was happening. Quiet, ordinary, strong. And I wondered what else I'd ignored in my life, because it didn't look dramatic enough. Weeks passed. Our meetings became normal. Not romantic at first. Just steady. Maris learned my world, and I learned hers. She told me about bus rides and cramped rooms. I told her about empty dinners and fake smiles. It was strange. We both felt poor in different ways. One day she said, "You're lonely." She didn't say it with shame. I tried to deny it, but my face betrayed me. Then she said, "I used to think rich people felt safe." Her voice was soft. I laughed once. It sounded bitter. "Safe," I said. "I'm scared of my own emptiness." Maris nodded slowly, like she finally understood me, and the air between us changed. Not sparks, something deeper, a respect that felt like shelter, and a friendship that felt like prayer. One evening, Maris invited me to a small church. Not fancy, just warm. I almost refused. Then the nudge returned. So I went. I sat in the back. Nobody recognized me there. And I liked that. The worship was simple. No performance. No show. Maris closed her eyes and sang softly, like she wasn't trying to impress heaven. I found myself praying again, without planning it. God, thank you for not shouting. Thank you for the quiet warnings. I looked at Maris. She was still singing. And I realized something. This wasn't about rich saving poor. This was about God rescuing both, through a relationship neither of us controlled. After service, we stepped outside. The air felt clean. Maris turned to me and said, "It felt like nothing at first." Then she smiled, small and real. But it wasn't nothing. And I knew that line would follow me forever. Like a whisper that keeps you awake. If you've ever felt a quiet nudge inside, don't dismiss it too fast. Sometimes God doesn't push hard. He pulls gently. If this story stayed with you, let it be known. You can support these kinds of stories by liking the video. If you've ever lived a moment like this, share it in the comments. And if you want more untold faith stories, subscribe and stay close. Also, if you're looking for faith-building books and resources, check the description when you're ready. Because some warnings don't sound like alarms. They sound like a whisper. And the whisper can change everything.